We're here today with Simon Mitchell, Managing Director of Southern Gold. Simon, thanks for your time.
No problem.
Can you share a little bit about the diverse nature of your asset portfolio?
Yes, it's a little bit unusual, David. We've got assets in South Korea and in Kalgoorlie. So Kalgoorlie is not the unusual part. South Korea normally takes people by surprise because it's a bit off the radar screen. But therein lies a lot of blue sky in the company. It's a huge opportunity for us as a company.
And the two assets themselves?
Yeah, so in Kalgoorlie, which is sort of a bit like the cash flow engine room of the company, we've got an operating mine called Cannon. We have a substantial exploration footprint around Kalgoorlie, more than 200 square kilometres of ground in and around the eastern side of Kalgoorlie. In fact, we have some ground just south of where the Black Cat Syndicate have got their ground, which was a recent listing. So we're near them, we're near Silver Lake over at the Kawana project. So we've got a substantial Kalgoorlie Australian-based business, and more importantly, it's actually generating a bit of cash flow for us. So it underpins, I guess, the future of the company. But in a parallel with that, we've got activities over in South Korea, which have really got the potential to put on the table something that is world-class, or tier one, as I call it. So that's where a lot of the exploration excitement is, and in terms of generating the 10 or 20 bagger, that's likely to be where it's going to come from.
And for those not familiar with South Korea, yes, what's the mining jurisdiction and the economic framework like?
Oh, it's fantastic, and it really surprises people. I think, often when South Korea is mentioned, people think about, a lot of Asian countries like, the Philippines, Indonesia and so on. It could not be any further different from that. And so I say, think North Asia, not Southeast Asia. It's closer to a Japan than it is to, say, an Indonesia in terms of its social and kind of cultural aspects, if I could put it that way. So yes, it's got a fully regulated society. It's an advanced industrial society. It's got one of the 10, I think it's number 10 or 11 in terms of size of economy in the world. So it's a fully developed nation. And when I fly in there and I catch a train down to the exploration area, it's a fast train, it's 300 kilometres an hour, and it puts Australia to shame, to be frank. So there's fantastic infrastructure. The fiscal regime there is like, second to none. They don't have any royalties. It's just a low corporate tax rate. And I guess one of the tricky things about Korea is the tenure system. We've been operating there for some years now in terms of Southern Gold and its predecessor companies. And so the Southern Gold subsidiary has been operating there since about 2010 and has picked up a lot of know-how about how to operate in the country, which is an important asset.
And for new investors or those who may not have been following the company, what are some of the milestones they should have seen and picked up over the recent months?
Well, an important one was the deal with Westgold on the development of the Cannon underground mine. So we have a small high-grade pod sitting under the pit that was mined in the last couple of years. We've come to an agreement with Westgold to exploit that high-grade pod. They've paid us an upfront fee of $1.5 million for a 5-year right to mine. As we sit today, we're not sure how big the system is. It could continue at depth. In any event, we'll get a $160 to $180 per ounce royalty off that. So that'll be a good solid bit of cash flow for us in the next few years going forward. That was one really important milestone. Another one has been the development of our targets in Southern Korea, which are the epithermal projects. Basically, we're starting to get tenure now on projects where we're seeing ore grade on surface, really good veins, 4-metre wide veins, chipping really good gold grades at surface, never seen a drill hole. So we're about to test a series of these things, and it's extremely exciting for the exploration crew.
And in terms of looking forward, what should investors focus on?
I think there's a couple of things that are quite key. One is that we brought in the same way as we brought in Westgold to do the Cannon underground mine in Western Australia, I've brought in another group called Bluebird Merchant Ventures, which are a London Stock Exchange listed group. But basically they're a bunch of crusty miners out of Manila who know what they're doing with narrow vein underground mining. They're taking forward 2 projects over in Korea, one called Gubong, the other one called Kochang. And in the next sort of 6 to 12 months, a lot of activity will come out of that. So Bluebird are going to be advancing Gubong, which has in its own right the potential to be a real company maker. It's a large orogenic system. It's been closed since the 1970s. They're in the middle of reopening that at the moment. It's got the potential to be a multi-million ounce deposit, and it's a huge opportunity for the company.
Simon, thanks for your time.
Yeah, no problem.